Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, the front office is alive. The team finally went and did something. It took them almost 2 full days, but we finally have proof of life. And if I may say so myself, it's pretty good. It's not exactly what we need to feel great about our chances in 2021, but it's pretty good. So a couple hours ago, it came down the pipe that we had picked up a veteran cornerback. And there were a few veteran cornerbacks that I went through during the offseason. There were others suggested to me. This one kind of flew under all of our radars, and there's a reason why. But, well, I have a little bit of optimism here. Ahkello Witherspoon, formerly a 49er. He was hot and cold with them for the last 4 years, I think. And now he's a Seahawk. 1 year, $4 million. So, how do I feel about this? Well, look, there's a reason why he was so cheap. There is. So, in the interest of full transparency, let me just say that Ahkello Witherspoon was a player who got benched multiple times in Frisco, because there were just times where he just wasn't there and he was getting beat up and burnt left and right. However, it wasn't because he was just a bad player. It was because sometimes he was really good and sometimes he just wasn't there. So we're not getting a bad player in Ahkello Witherspoon. We're getting an inconsistent player. And that's certainly better. With the defensive back genius of Pete Carroll, you would hope that he could get the best out of a player like Ahkello Witherspoon, and I would have probably preferred to do one or two other things at the cornerback spot, but Witherspoon is big. He's 6'3", I think. He's got good length. He's got long arms. He's got all these kinds of attributes that Carroll tends to really like with his outside cornerbacks. So for $4 million and just a 1 year commitment, we have ourselves a potential starting corner in 2021. Now, this makes Quinton Dunbar somewhat disposable. I'm not saying that I don't want him back in 2021, but now it becomes far more feasible to let him go. You can roll into 2021 with Witherspoon and DJ Reed on the outside, and then you've got Trey Flowers, Ryan Neal, and hopefully some mid-round rookie kicking around. But conceptually, I like this. This is what I think this team needs to do right now. Go super cheap and super frugal at corner and tell Carroll, figure it out. This is your area. Get the best that you can out of these cheap options. Go get some guys who got kicked off of other teams. Go get some castaways. Go get some highly drafted disappointments and turn them into gold. Spin that straw into gold and go spend the resources on something else. And that's what we did. So I'm pretty happy about that. And we're getting what we paid for at the end of the day. $4 million for a guy who could be a starting outside corner. That's a little better than what I thought was going to happen with Dunbar. And at this point, I don't know what's going to happen with Dunbar, but yeah, that's the first move of any significance the Seahawks have made this offseason, and I like it well enough. The second move that proves that the front office is alive is a really nice one. It's bringing back a 2020 player, so it's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world, but it's an important move that we just made. Came across my desk about 5 minutes ago. The Seahawks have re-signed nose tackle Poona Ford, a 2-year deal, so we decide to not put the restricted free agent tender on him. Wow, did not see that coming. But I kind of like it because let's take a look at this contract real quick. We've got 2 years, $13.5 million. There are some incentives in there as well. He needs to play well in order to earn the full $14 million. And that's actually a good deal cheaper than I was expecting for Poona. I thought Poona, if he hit the open market, was going to be an $8 million a year or a $9 million a year player. We're getting him for less than $7 million and quite possibly less than that. So this first year, he's apparently going to get $4.4 million, 2021. So that's easily workable under the cap. I think that's really good. We have we now have leverage over him for an extra year, because if we had just slapped the tender on him, he would have been free and clear next year. Now he won't be free and clear for another 2 years. Maybe we renegotiate next offseason when the cap is bigger. But we get a starting quality defensive tackle back for a very reasonable 2021 price. It's just $1 million more than the second round tender would have been, but it is cheaper than the first round tender if you were thinking about doing that. It's an interesting choice, but I think this goes to show that we really like Poona, and we want to give ourselves every opportunity to keep him, not just in 2021, but beyond. So I like this. I think it was a needed, necessary pickup. Well, not a pickup, but a bring back, if you will. And I think the contract is solid. I projected that on the free open market, Poona Ford was going to get somewhere around 3 years, at least $24 million. If you look at other defensive tackles, now maybe I was wrong about that, but if I'm right, this is a good signing. This is good value for the team. It's good for Poona. He gets a little extra money at the cost of waiting 1 more year to be free and clear. And yeah, that's all we have. It's 6:30 right now, so the day is not done, but it's relatively unlikely anything else happens. We're hearing some buzz around certain players, obviously, but I don't think anything else is going to happen today, which is fine by me. So tomorrow, actual free agency opens at 1 o'clock. I will be going live a little before then to start talking about it, and as things happen throughout the day, we will be discussing it on stream. I know a lot of people are going to be at work, but stop in if you can. We're going to try to have some fun with it. We're going to talk about the moves that the team makes. We're going to talk about the moves that the rest of the league makes. And hopefully we get some real action over the next 5 days, because obviously these first 2 days have started out pretty slow for us. I like both these moves. I like both these moves for what they are. If this ends up being our big off-season splash, then obviously I'm going to be very disappointed. But this was a pretty decent start. Retaining Poona was key. I was going to be very, very confused if we let him go. And not only did we keep him, we kept him for a slightly longer term than I was expecting. And Ahkello Witherspoon, look, he wasn't somebody that, excuse me, he wasn't somebody that I was thinking about. But if we can get the good stuff out of him, because we've seen both sides of that player as Seahawks fans. We saw him 2019 getting burnt by DK Metcalf to the point where he got benched. And then last year, week 17 against the Niners again, he was holding his own really well against DK in that game. So if we can get the best out of him, it's going to be a great deal. And we got a little more flexibility going forward. All right, peace out. Go Hawks. See you guys in stream later tonight.